The battle of the kingdom of heaven. So the kingdom of heaven is spoken of by Christ as being within you. So the battle is for you, and that you might be just a piece of that kingdom, which is precisely what you are. So I'm going to show a little video here of a swarm. Now this swarm is of drones in China. Now, to help you understand what a swarm of drones is that the drones themselves communicate with each other, and they understand the proximity of one to the other, and they are all basically communicating amongst a central program that then would manifest these drones to create an image in the sky. That they would create a single image based on thousands of little drones. Well, that is precisely what the body of Christ is. It is also precisely what the body of the enemy is, because the body of the enemy is established in this flesh. And in order for us to achieve Christ within us and obtain that office and work as a body of Christ, in these last days, we must be of one mind and of one accord.
So what's good and what's evil? Let me take a look at what's good. The definition. To be desired or approved of. A good quality life. The more people, the better. We live at peace with each other, which is good. But how did you get to the peaceful part that's good? Profoundly immoral and wicked. His evil deeds. Synonyms: wicked, bad, wrong, wrongful, immoral, sinful, ungodly. More? Foul, vile, base, ignoble, dishonorable, corrupt, iniquitous, depraved, degenerate, villainous, nefarious, sinister, vicious, malicious, malevolent, demonic, devilish, diabolical, fiendish, dark, black-hearted, monstrous, shocking, despicable, atrocious, heinous, odious, contemptible, horrible. Man, these words are tough. I never heard of them before in my life. Execrable, low down, stinking, dirty, shady, warped, bent, crooked bastard, black, egregious, flagitious. Man, look, I only went to 8th grade. I stopped going to school after that. So my vocabulary is not very good. I learn as I go, and so be it. It's profound. The noun is profound immorally and wickedness, especially when regarded as a supernatural force. The world is stalked by relentless evil. Synonyms: wicked, bad, wrong. It's the same old definitions. Something which is harmful or undesirable. The various social evils of our modern world. Harm, pain, hurt, misery, sorrow, suffering, trauma, trouble, disaster, destruction, loss, misfortune, catastrophic, calamity, affliction, woe, ruin, hardship, ills. That's what's evil. You know what's good? What's good is anything that's approving, anything praising, complimentary, flattering. I never understood flattering, because please flatter me. And then when you cling to somebody who flatters, you're not being real with yourself. So that ain't good, is it? Glowing, appreciative, enthusiastic, pleasing, agreeable, successful, positive, rave. Having the qualities required for a particular role. The schools here are good. Synonyms: fine, of high quality, of a high standard; quality, superior; satisfactory, acceptable; adequate, in order, up to scratch. It just tastes really good. It doesn't taste evil, it tastes good. Not bad. Alright. Excellent, superb, outstanding, magnificent, exceptional, marvelous, wonderful, first rate. Exceptional, marvelous, wonderful, first rate, first class, splendid, admirable, worthy, steering, super great, okay, hunky dory, terrific, tremendous, fantastic, super fragilisticexpialidocious, top notch, top class, awesome, magic, wicked, brilliant, smashing, fleek, bonzer, spiffing, ripping, cracking, topping, top hole, wizard, capital, champion, swell, delicious, mouth watering, appetizing, tasty, flavor. It's all good. So there's a swarm of good and evil that's created in the skies with drones that you can create them. What's good and what's evil in your mind, your interpretation of what's good and what's evil. Alright, let me try to give some examples, if I can think of some. Let's say, well, let's go with something that actually happened. Gang stalking. It's purely evil. It's violating your rights. It's bad, it's wrong. It's immoral. It's sinful. You're violating people's privacy. It's unholy. It's foul. It's dishonorable. It's corrupted. It's diabolical. It's shady. It's bent. It's crooked. There's nothing good about gang stalking, because you know what happens with some people that are gang stalked? They commit suicide. That's not good. Me, personally, what gang stalking has done, the result in the end, it's a good thing. Oh, it's a good thing. So what you're saying is, oh, hold on, because this is the spin, and now I understand why this good and evil thing is pressed so hard. So what you're saying, Robin, is, are you telling me that because you went through gang stalking, it wound up being a good thing in the end? Because why? Well, Satan, because of what you did with stalking me, surveilling me, harassing me, and death threats, and those particular things, I started to feel like, well, go ahead and do it then. Just I'm tired of the threats. And so the more you hear these things and you watch videos about what gang stalking is and what they can do, and what, if you speak up, that kind of thing, for just speaking up, telling the truth. Gang stalking is something that it can do two things. It can drive you completely insane, or you can defeat it, and it gives you a better refinement. Oh, So what you're saying, Robin, is gang stalking that you said was wrong, immoral, dishonorable, corrupted, depraved, nefarious, sinister, malicious, demonic, devilish, demonic, heinous, horrible, low down, stinky, dirty, shady, warped, bent, crooked, all those. What you're saying is, because of me, the Gang Stalk Corporation. Oh yeah, Satan. I got it. So because of me, you, Robin, have become stronger mentally. Is that what you're saying? Isn't that a good thing? Well, yes, Satan. It is actually, but it was a bad thing that started it, and what starts the bad thing turns out to be a good thing. So what's good and what's evil? I just explained it. Evil is gang stalking. Good is how you defeat your inner demons because of it. Because there's times where, in the beginning, when I finally realized that, wow, I'm being so gang stalked, this is so obvious. And then me and my wife looked up gang stalking quite often, and we see that, oh, there's a thing called overt, which is they make it obvious. So once it's obvious, then it becomes, it's covert because it's covered, and then it's overt because it's obvious. So going through it, I realized the differences: covert and overt. It's very heinous when you can see that you're being gang stalked and you can't prove to anybody unless you have the ability to prove it to each other, like me and my wife. Me and my wife are on the same page when it comes to that thing, because she was the one that noticed that Bowie's bed was moved to the like a foot over, and OCD with her, you ain't getting away with anything. Trust me. So she's the one that knew that and told me. And when she told me, I just instantly was like, yeah, sounds about right. When other people are like, no, how? Your doors were locked, right? Yeah. There's a thing called locksmiths. The ones that run the planet, they have access to everything imaginable. Anybody? What happened was, after the gang stalking, after I got to the point of looking past of how sickening it is, so angry about it, looking past that, getting to the point, seeing them as, they really don't know, they don't know what they're doing, but you do. The one that started this, they created this, and you do. But what are you doing it for? What are you surveilling me for? What do you surveil me and my wife for? It seems pretty horrible and very malicious and demonic. However, when you come out on the other side and you realize you go from hating to understanding, and then accepting reality for what it is at this moment, loving, because you feel sorry for the person that had that task to do. Like, you have a task to do. Your task is literally to follow this person and pretend to do something as they drive by you. But then it gets to a point where you become paranoid towards it. I think everybody goes through this phase. You become paranoid, and then I just remembered. This is in reverse, and I showed you words backwards. I keep forgetting that this thing is backwards, because that's demonic. Is it demonic? Or is it just looking at yourself in a mirror image? Is that good or evil? It's just what it is. Sometimes things don't need to be one or the other. They just need to be what it is. But words are so dissected that this is why what's good is evil and what's evil is good. Because the purpose is to explain to you that whatever happened evil in your life, look at the good side of what came out of what was evil. And then ask yourself, was it really evil? Or is it good? Oh, I don't know. I mean, let's take an abusive relationship. There's men out there that brutally beat their wives or their girlfriends. And what they do is they put fear in their heart, and take it from me, for the last 10 years, I've been dealing with somebody else's evil mindset of abusing a woman mentally, physically, about ready to kill her, taking a bat to her head, getting ready to smash her head in, and all of a sudden there's this pain in the elbow from this guy that she was with, that all of a sudden just the elbow pain like out of nowhere when he was getting ready to smash her head in with a bat. I believe my wife when she tells me these stories. That was purely evil, because what was in his mind was smash her head, kill her, for whatever reason that he was even mad. That's evil. When you look at the good side of things, because you have to balance it out, because it's all about balance. It ain't truly about, well, that's what we're doing right now that I'm consciously aware of is really good, even though it's evil as all hell. But the outcome, we know it's going to be good for you. But we get to sit back and watch and like, oh man, I'm glad I'm not him or her. The good is the fear of death is something that my wife has not feared because of facing the death and the fear of someone being abusive and putting their hand over their mouth like a mask, that kind of thing. But then Satan will say, well, yes, I mean, I understand, Rob. I understand, but in the end, I mean, so what you're saying is, so your wife is not afraid of death. That's right, Satan. That's right. So, your wife is not afraid of death, huh? Rabin? That's right, Satan. Not anymore. Is that because it was because of me? Yeah, it is because of you. You scared the living shit out of her that in the end, she defeated the fear of death. So you're saying it's a good thing that the guy pretty much tried to kill her? Yeah, it's a real good thing. You don't look at it as being evil when you learn something good out of it, even though it is evil. That's the mindset. Don't look at that as it being evil, because it's a good thing that happened that came out of what was evil. Yeah. Yep. When I went to jail, that was something that what I was doing it was not, in order for me to get there, it was not up to the mark, up to par. It was not all right. It was not outstanding. It was not magnificent or splendid or even exceptional or marvelous or wonderful, first class, splendid, I think I said that, worthy, super, great, okay, brilliant, smashing, enjoyable. It was not enjoyable. Everything that I did to get to jail was despicable. It was disrespectful. It was being inconsiderate of people that I'm stealing from, not taking them into consideration that as I'm robbing them from stealing stuff from their vehicles outside, you know, every time they hear the dog bark now, they're going to think that someone's out there robbing them. See, that was victims awareness class that I took when I went to prison. And that was the reason why a good thing happened. You have to separate what's evil and what's good. The evil is there to create good. And the good is there to enjoy when you can defeat evil. See, there's a lesser light. You don't need the lesser light all the time. That evil that is used to turn things good is a reset. You need good more, but evil is what creates the good when it's over. Going to jail was not a good thing for me as I was in jail, until I woke up a few days later and realized, yeah, I need to be here. Because when I called my kid on the phone, he was 2.5 years old, and he had his cookies, he was baking cookies, and he wanted to know when I was coming home. That was the moment that my heart got crushed, and it sank to my feet, and that was the moment that I felt like the biggest piece of dirt in the garden. I was more dirt than a snake, because I was underneath of the snake. I was lower than a snake. But because my son and his voice and his innocence of just wanting to know when I'm coming home because he got cookies for me. Oh man, you want to talk about a crushing feeling? Well, that set me straight back in 2004. That was on October 31st, 2004, because I got locked up October 28th. That was on Halloween when I turned to God in my jail cell, on my knees. And then 10 months later, I got transferred and went to Montgomery County Prison, and that was the story I told you about with that black guy, that I had a little bit of racism in my heart because of how I was just fed bullshit. And until I experienced, another desire to turn to Christ again and ask for my life, for Him to save my soul, because I didn't know how that worked. And then from that point on, because this black guy got on my nerves with trying to get rid of his cereal for milk or juice, like someone's going to give you your cereal and milk for your juice. But it's because he was insolent. I didn't understand. I was judging him. The good thing is, by committing evil crimes, I turned to Christ. And therefore, at that time, my soul got saved. It rose up to heaven to start doing what's right. My conscience convicted me. And that was all I needed, was to run out of options and to be stuck in prison cells with no more room for error of any type of, when I get out, I can't. When you got a record to hear, you run out of options. But before that, all that year 2004, I got locked up 4 different times. I had 4 different cases, 4 different counties. Each county didn't know about each other. And that was the only reason why it was a good thing when I went to jail, because you can't get a job if you have open cases. somehow, some way, these cases were not on the computer until I got court that day, and they're like, "Tease, you got court." I'm like, huh? Oh shit! I'm going to be kicked off the block, and then I go to court, and that case is settled, and then I don't have to go to court. So these things that happen because of pure evil wind up being a good thing. This is why evil is called good and good is called evil, because Derek knows that these things that are started from evil winds up being good, but you don't want to go through it. So, Satan, what you're saying is, then it's a good thing that I stole, right? It's a good thing from the beginning, because in the end, I stopped stealing. But I had to be doing some evil mischief, but it was good. So now it all makes sense. Does it make sense to you a little bit more? Why they use good and evil? In a sense, it's true, but in another sense, it has another meaning that's less true. In another sense, it's dead on true, because you have to face the facts. Going to prison sucks bad, but then when you get out, if you straighten up and you start to walk the narrow path, it's because of the temptation that Satan throws in front of you to go steal stuff. Even though the thing that doesn't make sense the most is I made decent money all these years, and I didn't have to steal anything, but because I was brought up poor, I was used to stealing like ham and cheese out of the grocery store when I'm 7, 8 years old, candy bars, clothes, getting locked up when I was 14 because of going away for I got locked up at a juvenile place, Slayton Farms in Lima, PA, and then after a month I ran. I was only 14 years old. It was cornfields. But what I did was I told my mom, I said, I'm out of here. And you know why? Because black kids were picking on me. I was the only white person out of like 500 people. And I was getting picked on. They stole my, not really picked on, but let me rephrase that. I was the odd man out. But I had 2 cellies, and I was making this mixed club tape back in the 90s, and one of my cellies stole it out. They stole it, or they allowed it to get stolen, or whatever. Well, I didn't have it. So when my mom came up, I told her, I said, I'm leaving tomorrow, so I'll expect you to see you out in the parking lot. Sure enough, gangster mom, right there to do whatever it is she can possibly do for her sons, because they talk her into it, which is an evil thing. But what I did was I stole his sneaks because I didn't appreciate him stealing my mixtape, because I spent a lot of time with his club songs, and so I had some nice pair of new Nikes when I left. My brother was there with my mom, get me out. But Satan tempted me some more. I continued stealing. 2 years later, I got caught because I robbed this. Well, it's because of the store I robbed for clothes, and then I got caught 2 years later trying to steal a car to make like $400. And I got caught and went to jail. That's when I lost my hair. Started to. Stress, man. I had a nice cool Mustang. It was a 4-cylinder. I was working on getting 8-cylinder. Had turbo hood rims. My brother took it over because I got locked up. My girlfriend left me because of that. I was really in love with her too, and first time, and all of that at once being taken from me, man, I went through it, man. But the second time around, out of 500 people, there was 3 white kids. 2 of them were Oreos, and I was the only pure white kid because I didn't change the way I talk. I didn't try to sound slang. I didn't try to fit in. But at that time, I made up my mind. I said, I'm staying. I'm getting my GED. I'm getting the hell up out of here as soon as possible. I did exactly 8 months. I went in. I seen everybody there. Everybody that I seen when I went in, I seen when I went out. And said, see ya. Because I got in and did exactly what I needed to do. And I worked at Pizza Hut. Learned how to, work for a living. Save up some money. Off the campus. I was basically free. I ate pizza. I drank alcohol at Pizza Hut when we were done because I filled up a big cup. Peppermints. 16 years old. 17? No, 16 to 17. Yeah. 17-ish. Somewhere around there. 16. Up until I was 17. And then I went to Thaddeus Stevens State School of Technology because there was one teacher there. His name was Ray Mellon, an old head horticulture teacher. Told me about this place that I can go to get a free scholarship if I'm poor, which I was. So I signed up, I did it, and I went there for free for 2 years. All good. Because of my evil past. I created good out of evil, but I was not consciously aware that I'm doing it. When you're consciously aware that you're doing evil in order to create what's good, it's just different because you're consciously aware you're doing evil. I didn't know that, well, I knew I was doing evil, but I didn't know the result of the evil is going to create good. The people behind the scenes, they know that. They know that what they're creating, which is evil, is going to turn out to be good because it all balances itself out in the end. So man, it was a damn good thing that I was a thief when I was younger. Damn good thing, because it made me appreciate everything now. And to put myself in people's shoes, that's why I'm so considerate of people's feelings. That's why I care so much about people. But I had to sever those feelings